Hi Zoe, thank you very much for coming to the Public Sector Roundtable. You've been doing a lot of work over the past 10 years at least on lean and implementation of lean. One of the things that you're looking at now is how sustainable is lean in organizations. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
I think that what we've seen over the last sort of 5-6 years is great use of a lot of the tools around lean, so things like process mapping, things like visual management boards, training facilitators. You've got thousands of facilitators across government departments now who know about lean. So there's been a fantastic rollout of the tools, and that's allowed public services and particularly government departments and health organisations to hit what I call not even low-hanging fruit but rotten apples. So some crazy practices like, 17 forms to admit a patient moving down to 2, self-assessment forms going through 20 steps when only 3 are value add. So it's given great opportunities there. But what I think we're in a place at now is we need to start thinking, right, now we've got away from the low-hanging fruit. If we're going to start picking the apples higher in the tree, we've got to fundamentally change the way we view and design our organisation. So that's about creating something which I call organisational readiness. So it's about changing the way that organisations think and design their services that allow us to engage not just with the tools of lean, but with the systems and the principles of lean as well.
And so tell me a bit more about this readiness. So what do organisations have to do or to have?
Well, if we go back to the principles of lean or good operations management, it's about understanding the purpose of your process, so your value. It's about understanding the flow, how you manage your flow through your system, through your service system. And it's also about ensuring that you're continually addressing waste and getting rid of non-value added activity. That's good operations and process management as well as lean. So readiness is about creating the understanding of those factors. So it's things like linking what you're doing to strategy, having leadership that understands what lean is. It's about particularly about things such as having a process view. So you've got a lot of public sector workers that are really focused on doing good work, a good task. But what they don't recognise is what they're doing is actually adding no value to the end purpose. Most importantly, it's about things like co-production, getting the customer involved or the citizen involved in the process because they want to, and they can reduce some of the variety by doing so. And it's also about communicating what you're doing. But and I said most importantly a couple of times now, but one, to me, the most important is about understanding demand and recognising that we in public services are often very capacity-led, and it's about becoming much more understanding of the different types and patterns of demand that come into our system, rather than seeing them as just the same that come in and ask for lots of different things. We have a duty to understand those demands. So a simple example, we're in September at the moment, and we're about to come up to Christmas, and coming up to, in hospitals, a very difficult time of the year with flu. A question is, asking hospital chief executives, medical directors and A&E directors, are they planning for that winter? Because it kind of surprises them every year. So it's changing the way that we think. So they can do the tools, they can do the right layout, they can have the information boards, they can have some visual displays, but they fundamentally got to think about the way they design and deliver their services. And that's what I'm calling readiness. And that's where lean in public sector differs from lean in private sector, because private sector understand a lot of that, because all those readiness factors lead to making a profit. Because we don't have to make a profit in public sector, we naturally don't think like that.
So it's a shift, in other words, from an internal view, so like inward looking to outward looking, and looking more at the customer or the end user of the service.
So if we think about some service management ideas, which we talk a lot about, how we've got to move from inside out. We talk the notion of inside out and outside in. I would say public services have been very much about inside out, they've been using lean as a way to make working life easier for them, which is quite a controversial thing to say. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's what it is been, and hence we've used the tools to do that. If we are going to become more outside in, really making it purposeful for the citizen or the customer, then we've got to take that outside in look and change the way that we view what we deliver and how we deliver it. And whether that's called lean or operations management, who knows? But as long as we create more effective public services rather than just efficient public services, then that's good for everyone.